Hey guys, joining me today is Beth Fraser. This is a very familiar face to, I'm sure most of you have a TV, or if you visited the front page of YouTube during the summer, maybe you saw her, maybe. Beth is an actress who is in commercials, who maybe you've seen a few of. There was Nasacort, that's where I came across her. She was Nasacort spokesperson for how long was that?
4 years.
Yeah, I knew it had to be a little bit of time there. That's got to be like the sweetest gig to be
Oh, it was
the
wonderful.
like I think our stars going forward, because the movie industry's finished. It's going to be like, hey, I want to be like Flo. I want to
Absolutely.
be AT&T's Lily came back. She tried to get into
Yes.
movies and streaming shows, and it turned out that's harder than just showing up at AT&T store and selling 4G LTE coverage, I guess.
Yes and no. It's actually well, for me, if I may talk about the Nasacort process, I had an original audition, and then I had a callback, and then I had a second callback, told I had booked the job, and then was told I did not book the job because they wanted to go back and look at blonde actresses. And so I had to fight for my job again.
Did you
And
consider
then
dyeing
I,
the hair?
huh?
Did you consider dyeing the hair?
I don't know. I'm not sure what, it's so interesting when you're an actor. You're not just say having an audition with the director as they show it like in the movies and whatnot. It's not with a casting director or a director and then boom, you just book it. It has to go past, if you're commercials, it has to go past production. It has to go past the clients. Everybody has to approve you. And if you're in TV, it has to go by the producers and the network. So it's everybody has to agree on one person. So it really is lightning in a bottle to book anything.
Yeah, okay. I hadn't really considered that with the advertising. Uh, you'd have to go through just as much of a rigorous process as a scripted series or a film.
Absolutely. Sometimes it's actually harder commercially because they will only call in maybe 20 people or so for a theatrical or a TV job, but they will call in 100 people for a commercial job.
Yeah.
So you're
Well,
against more people.
those people have a shot at getting the commercial. As I kind of think going forward, it's going to be actors having offspring are going to be the next set of movie stars. They're not even going to bother with anybody that doesn't have a 10 million Instagram followers. They're just going to be like,
Mm-hmm.
oh well, we can't put $200 million into well, let's come up with a name. Heather Smith. That's actually the name of my cousin. Uh, we can't give Heather Smith a $200 million picture. She doesn't have 10 million Instagram followers. Meanwhile, Miley Cyrus does, something like that.
Sure.
But with commercials, there's a sense that they're not going away. Like we had the theaters shut down, and then everybody had to go direct to streaming, except Tom Cruise doesn't want to do that. And so they're waiting it out with the big tentpole pictures. They're going to all get pushed to next year. The commercials are still coming. And you had a commercial that was a follow-up to an Apple commercial. You had an Apple commercial with a sequel. Can you tell us a little about that?
Sure. So 2 years ago, I went in for an audition where the original audition was the woman was speaking in Mandarin Chinese in the middle of the elevator and then being mean to her assistant. So I went and learned a few phrases in Mandarin in order to audition, and then was just basically as mean as I could be, which I actually really like those characters. I find them a lot of fun to play. So had that, and then had the callback, was put on a veil, which means that's basically the next step to being booked. But
Okay.
and then you and usually you and another person are both pinned. So it's like you and another person, but you don't ever know if
Do you
you
ever
book.
meet them? Like,
No,
oh,
no.
okay.
I have no idea who else is pinned. I don't ever know if I book it unless I actually book it. They don't call to say, hey, you've been released. So I was availed, dropped from the avail, and then booked the job. like 2 days later.
So you may not know that you didn't get the part until you see the ad on TV yourself.
Yep. Or until the shoot day goes by. So you're
Oh,
given the avail. They're saying,
that's so
hey,
polite of them. Yeah.
it's
Awesome.
the business. I mean, actors are really just as much as people like make fun of us. There are those of us that work really hard, and it's just not respected. Our time and effort that a lot of us put into it are not respected. However, let me go back to what I was saying. So, ended up getting to book it. We shot it in Mexico City. So I got to go visit Mexico City to shoot this job, which ended up being for Apple, which was amazing. And the director, Mark Malloy, was amazing. The whole thing was just so much fun, right? We shoot it, we see it. It's hilarious. It's like basically The Office, but for Apple. It was really
And
well
this
put
is the
together.
underdogs.
This is the Underdogs. This
Okay.
is the original
Yeah.
Underdog. Goes on to win 7 Cannes Lions, which is essentially like the best you can do for a commercial. 7 awards from Cannes. And then they were going to shoot another one with me a year later. That fell apart. And then this one came around, and we shot it all during the beginning of the pandemic lockdown. So I was downstairs in my office shooting most of this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like a 4-day shoot trying to set up all this tech that people were still learning. And then I did some stuff on a set, completely safe. It was great. Everybody masked up. I got to work with Beth Fraser, who just shot Dune. He's in the middle of shooting the Batman. So I had
Okay.
I had
These Apple
amazing
ads, of course, they look the best. They look as
Yes.
good as the movies do.
Yeah, I mean, he's a award-winning DP, and then you have an award-winning director. Like, how could it go wrong? And then we ended up with what is it like at 120 million views or something like at this point?
It was a lot within a very short period of time. I saw it on the front page of YouTube, which I'm sure is not a cheap spot for an ad from Apple to buy. But the weird thing about that is like Apple will, as YouTube goes, they like skew the rules of how, like, you need to have the comment section. You got to show your likes and dislikes. They turn the comments off. People watch anyway. And that's so people, it's so weird to think that people go on YouTube to watch something, and the ad that plays in front of what they're watching probably has 1,000 times the production value of what and then they hit skip to watch some kid stream Minecraft and talking to a webcam.
Yeah. Well, everybody's got, I mean, my daughter watches people unboxing toys.
Oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah. And then the two, like, they hold the dolls and then they imagine. So instead of her going to imagine on her own, she's watching other people imagine. And then she'll watch me and be like, oh, that's great. Next, what's on being unboxed?
Can you imagine maybe by the end of the decade, it could be to the point where we have the top people in commercials and they're like hired guns, like going to the next person. So it's almost like the Dwayne Johnson of commercials is like the pitchman for like 10 different things. And that's all he does is be the pitchman. He doesn't have to be in a movie to be the pitchman, but everybody knows him anyways because they see him on TV and on their screens all the time. I kind of think that could be the case because I don't see a lot of movies being made, and then going forward, are people going to get worn out of what they have? Because a lot of it is just, do we recognize the IP? We got a 50th Star Wars movie or something like that. But when there's new products coming out, you got to let people know about it. You have to educate the audience, and that's where you get the ads.
Yeah, I think commercials are always going to be there. I know that personally, I have shot a couple over the past month, so it really is ramping back up.
When you're doing the ads, I've seen some of your stuff on your Instagram. Go ahead and plug your Instagram. I don't have anything written down well. So what was your Instagram? If you want to get people
sure, it's
out there.
I am Beth Fraser. So IAMBETHFRASER.
You have a pretty good setup, and I'm thinking a lot of people now have to do similar thing where they have to roll out the green screen. They got to get the good microphones, the good cameras, all this stuff themselves. Did you have to do that before this situation?
Absolutely. So theatrical was starting to head more towards what they call self-tape, which is you'll get your sides sent to you, and then you tape it yourself as opposed to going into the casting office.
Okay.
So TV and film was already lending itself to that, especially because a lot of things are shooting in Atlanta and out of Los Angeles. So I would tape for, I taped for a lot of Tyler Perry shows last season. Got to audition for David Fincher a couple times. One was Mindhunter. So, but all of those get put on tape by myself, and then you just send it out into the ether and hope for the best.
So you're taping your audition, but are there situations now where you are taping your piece of the ad? Like I've seen some of the ads now, the Toyota, Jan with Toyota, it looks like she filmed some of that herself, or you got a sense that maybe there's a green screen involved in her basement or something like that. Are there ads that you're shooting now where there you go, hey, we just want you to send this from your end over here to us?
Yeah. So the Apple ad, the parts where we're all speaking to each other on the phone, were all shot in our homes or on a COVID safe set. Some of them just like they went and location scouted all of our houses. The director went through on Zoom and had it look at all of our rooms to see what they could do. And then we had production assistants, PAs, dropping off stuff and that's why it took like 4 days. We were actually part of the set dressing to get everything set up as well as the tech. So yes, that's happening. But you will get generally like a kit from production to help make it a little more production value. Versus my daughter, who actually is on an HP commercial right now.
Oh, really? I didn't know. I've seen her on your Instagram. I didn't know she was acting. So
she's not really. I let her do it with me only.
Oh, so you're in the HP ad and she's in it?
Right.
Oh,
but I'm
okay.
kind of background. She's foreground. She's singing ABCs. All we did was shoot her.
I'm gonna have to look for that. Is that out yet?
Yeah. It's on. You know what? I'll link it on my Instagram, or I'll put it up as a post because I did it on my Facebook. She's singing ABCs, and all we did was film her on like what I'm doing right now, filming her singing ABCs, and then we just got a note that was like, "Oh, she booked it. It'll be on at some point."
So you wielded your power of influence as a top commercial actress to get your daughter through the course of nepotism into stardom. That's what I heard just now. That's
yeah. No, what happened was, like you mentioned, I think you mentioned it earlier. They're looking for real families. They want real moms and daughters, or real, families that are actors, because they don't want to introduce the idea of putting people together right now.
That makes sense.
So the whole real families thing, particularly in commercials, is very important currently. So honestly, with her, if she wants to do it with me and it's just playing and she ends up with money for college or traveling or whatever she wants to do at 18, I'm fine with that. If it were to become like a pressure thing where she needed to make money for a job, or she was putting pressure on herself, I wouldn't allow it.
I think I would be really good for commercials as like some kind of weird antagonist character. Like I would be the guy everybody hates, so you buy the product anyway, or I get foiled by the good guy in the ad. What would you suggest I would do if I wanted to get started in commercials and be like the villain of the commercial scene, or similar?
The first thing you would need to do is get headshots, and you would need to get headshots within that type. So commercials are very much about reading a type right off the bat, because you have essentially 30 seconds to sell something. So you need to look at me and go, oh, she's corporate. Oh, she's a teacher. Oh, she's mean. So you have to be able to sell that like that. Oh, she's a mom, whatever. So part of that is knowing who you are and what your essence is. Then you would need to take the headshots that reflect that. Then you would have to get an agent. Then you would have to get a setup for now, because everything is at home auditioning currently. And then you would have to do that, and then you could go, and it's go time. Then you put it out in the world, and the agent says, here, you have an audition for this. And it wouldn't be just that. Like you could be a villain, yes, but you could also be like the smarmy know-it-all tech guy, You could ha ha ha. And as far as commercials, I think Apple was kind of leading the way. They are going more long form. I've seen a lot more kind of scripts happening, so that
Hmm.
they are posted on the internet. And when you have the internet, you've got a little more time to play.
And a lot of times I see any ad, they got a longer version I never see on TV, and it's on YouTube, and people are looking for the ads on YouTube, which
Yes.
which you wouldn't. 10 years ago, were people looking for ads?
No.
Necessarily. Yeah.
No, and it's kind of the wild west of commercials right now. And I think everybody, which is funny because we knew it was coming. We saw it coming. I'm not really sure why um, actors are all of a sudden like freaked out about the idea. But it's kind of been that way for a while. People are moving their eyes to streaming services and to internet and away from network television, and it's been that way for quite a while. you know and I
Yeah.
think that the pandemic kind of sped it all up.
I think
How
the pandemic accelerated a lot of changes that are going to stick. People are not going to go back to the movie theaters because a lot of them are shutting down, and they
Right.
also realize that over the course of 6 months they don't need to go to the movie theaters. They already have a backlog of what to watch on Netflix and wherever else. But I guess I know you have a heart out. Let's go ahead and give you a few closing minutes to cuss me out, give us some advice, whatever you want to do.
Oh, you completely cut out on me, so I have no idea what I'm
Oh,
supposed to do.
it did say unstable. Oh my, I have the worst problem with the
You're
internet
so
lately.
unstable. Oh my God.
Yeah, I've been trying to stream video games for kids to watch, and yeah, now it says internet connection unstable. Can you hear me at all right now?
I can hear you. Now you're working.
I know you got a heart out.
Yeah.
So let's close this down. Just give you like a minute to give advice or cuss me out, make fun of my eyebrows, whatever you want to do. Go.
First of all, I love your eyebrows. You also have an accent, which I love too. I think that's fabulous. Um, did you know you had an accent? You totally do. It
I'm
comes
from
out.
Kansas. The accent
I
of
don't know. I
Kansas.
almost hit a little, like I get it too. It comes out. I'll say y'all all the time. I'm from Florida. So it just pops out, but I love it. You are who you are. And
Okay.
that's what commercials. So if I were to give advice for anybody who wanted to be in commercials, it's about being you. That's different versus TV and film where you are putting a bit of yourself into a character. So you're adding things on top of it. But commercials really are about being you. What I call you plus one, you on your best day. Because no matter what, even if you wanted to play the villain, you can't be mean. You can't be negative because commercials are about positivity. They're about selling something, whether it be making you feel good or making you laugh or making you want to buy this product, for whatever reason. It's never negative. It's like comedy. Even when people are the villain on a comedy or are angry, they're really more frustrated than anything. So just be you. If you ever wanted to get into commercials, be you, and also know who you are. So don't try to be anything you're not. Like, I know who I am. I know what characters I play. I know what I like to play. I love comedy, actually. My goal is actually to be on a sitcom one day. I know
Oh,
that
sitcoms, that you have to go back to the 90s to get a hit sitcom, unfortunately.
maybe. I have a feeling they're going to come back. I have a feeling that independent films are going to come back, and I have a feeling that sitcoms are coming back. I think this is going to be the cyclical nature of the business. We've got to like suss it all out, but this is just, I'm putting it out there in the world. These are the things that are going to be popping over the next 5 years or so. But yeah, I mean, I've had trouble convincing people that I'm funny.
Okay.
Maybe because I'm not always funny. I don't know. Maybe I think I'm funnier than I am. However, that is part of, I know who I am. Oh, crap. Just knocked over my water.
That was
So,
funny. Yes. I'm holding a light over my face right now because that's how bad my setup is. So trash compared to yours. You probably have like a key light and all kinds of things going.
no,
And
darling, I've got this working right now because I'm in my bedroom.
oh, yeah.
I'm
See,
about to go to,
I don't have a lamp for like
uh,
that
well,
within reach.
I tell you what, with the pandemic, I have started spending my money like less on going out to eat and more on inside the home. So I've been really trying to like bump up my house. However, I've seen people shoot auditions in the corner, with one light over them. It really, honestly, as long as they hear you and as long as they can see your eyes and what's going on, this is theatrically, but like and commercially as well. As long as you're well lit and well heard, you can pretty much shoot anywhere. They're very forgiving right now, owing to, pandemic and 6 different people trying to work jobs and school and everything in one household. It's kind of an impossible situation. So everybody is just doing the best they can. I only happen to have a leg up because I was doing self tapes before this all started.
Yeah, you definitely have a leg up. Certainly. Well, thanks so much for your time, guys. Beth did a terrible job of cussing me out at the end there, but I really appreciate all her great advice. I hope some of you can use it as well. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
I appreciate it.